Hello, awesome artists. Today we are going to be drawing some ornaments. So these ornaments are going to have value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. They're also going to have form. Form is when something has 3 dimension. So this stapler has form. It's like a sculpture. I can hold it in my hand. I can see it from all sides. This piece of paper though is flat. It really doesn't have any form. So we're going to create the illusion of form by using value. So grab something in your house that is circular. It could be a cup. It could be, I think a plate might be a little too big, but something that's round, and you're going to put it on your paper. And using a pencil, hopefully you have a pencil. If you don't, you could use a marker and just trace a few circles on your paper. If you're a superstar artist and you don't want to use a tracer, you could just draw them freehand, but I think using a circle tracer is so much easier. So I'm gonna draw a few of these. Okay, so I've drawn 3 different circles. I want to trace them in a Sharpie just so you can see my lines better, okay? Alright guys, I've traced all 3 of my circles in Sharpie. So to make these circles look like spheres or balls, right, ornaments, we need to make a light spot and a dark spot. So I'm going to, with my pencil, just mark the light spot and the dark spot. So let's say my light is coming from this way, right? I want the light spot to be where the light is coming from. So if the sun or some Christmas lights are hitting the ornaments over here, this part is going to be the light part, and then that part will be the dark part, right? So light and light. Okay, so I've decided where the lightest part of my ornament is going to be. I'm now going to pick a color. I think I want to start with, ooh, this is a tough one. Let's start with green. So I'm going to start with this one up here. So I know this is the lightest part of my sphere. So I'm not going to draw here first. I'm going to start at the darkest part first. So I'm just going to start by really carefully shading in this part of my sphere. Okay, so I've added 1 layer of green just to this side of my ornament. Now if you have a crayon, you could totally do this with a crayon too. You don't only have to use a colored pencil. I just like using colored pencil. So I've added 1 layer of green. I'm going to add a little bit more as I keep going up the circle, but I don't want to get too close to that X, right? That side of my circle. Okay, so I'm going to very gently start to move my pencil on this side of the circle. I am being so gentle. I am really not pressing at all. The green is just barely coming off of my my pencil and onto the paper. Just barely coming off. If you want to take your finger and kind of blend it around, that works decently well with colored pencil. Okay, super light. And I'm going to add another layer over here on the dark side. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a gradient, something that goes from light to dark. So if this is the darkest part, I'm going to add more shading over here. I'm pressing now with my pencil. I'm really pressing on that paper. Not so hard that I break my pencil, but just hard enough so that it makes a darker value. Just adding more and more layers until I really like how it looks. Okay, that's a really good start on my ornament. So I've got a really light green over here. I still left that little part white. this kind of medium, and then the really dark. I'm going to go back in with another layer of green. So this is the part where you guys just add layers and layers and layers of color, which means you add more and more and more until you like how it looks. And right now I'm just blending all that color in. This technique can take a little while, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's really cool. So I'm taking my pencil and I'm making a very gentle line around the top, around that white spot, right? Because I want it to act as like a highlight. Super, super light over here. Okay. All right, you guys. This is pretty much the finished product. So I pressed really hard with my colored pencil and I ease off the pressure as I come up and I just very, very lightly color in, and you see this like kind of circle here of just white. I didn't touch inside that circle with my colored pencil. I left it nice and white because that's acting as a highlight. I'm going to do the same thing for these two circles. Alright guys, so I did this one in crayon because I wanted to show you you can still get a really light value and a really dark value. So on this side I added a little bit, just a really little bit of black crayon. So I just lightly added some black and then I added some more of that red back in to make it really dark. So that change from dark to light is a big deal. It helps it look more three-dimensional. To make it an actual ornament, you can decide if you want to cut it out and put it on like a tree that you make, or you could just draw right on top and you could add like that little metal part that actually hooks onto the tree. I like to draw a small rectangle and a hook shape, right? And that is an easy way to make an ornament.